Okay, back again. Sorry, somebody's selling something at my door. Okay, so now we've got the effects on your next body paragraph is going to be the effects on the coworkers. So we've got, this is going to be paragraph 3. Second, what did I just say? Oh, second, Bartleby the Scrivener. On individuals on, sorry, thinking of homelessness on co-workers of the unhoused, something like that. I think you're hopefully getting my point here. So paragraph 3, something like this. Second, Bartleby the Scrivener illustrates the effects of homelessness on co-workers of the unhoused, right? Because that is the next point that you're making. So it's kind of like what I like to say, like, you know, they put on shampoo, like rinse and repeat, right? So you are going to then explain it. Then you need evidence from the story. You need to quote the story. You must quote the story in every single paragraph. Every single paragraph. You've got to deal with the story. You don't want to take a vacation from the story when you're writing about the story, right? So that's what I said. Don't write what they call a parallel essay. All of a sudden you're writing about homelessness and in the workplace, and that's really great. And you got some great quotes and all this, but you forgot about the story. Maybe it's only in the introduction or only in the intro and the conclusion. Major problem, not successful. You are not analyzing the story, and that is the main objective. So you've got to keep the focus on the story. So that's why I'm saying evidence number 1 from the story. You can have evidence number 2 from research. The research could be about homelessness in the 1850s. It could be just about homelessness in the workplace. You know, just use good sources. Then you analyze it, you know, wrap it up, right? So the next one, I'm just going to let you, you know, do that, right? And then so paragraph 4, finally, it's on the, you know, business owner, we said. So something like, finally, as shown in Melville's story, also can have a devastating effect on business owners. I mean, there's a lot of evidence, peekaboo, sorry about that, for that in the story, right? So finally, my favorite transition word is finally, because it's like, it sounds so important, right? Finally, here's my final point. But it also, for you as a writer, it's like, finally, I'm getting to the last point, right? So finally, as shown in Melville's story, homelessness also can have a devastating effect on business owners. Well, clearly you can show that with the boss. I mean, he's put in a predicament of, what do I do? I mean, he moves his whole office to get away from the situation. And think about not being able to even reach out to an organization for help, right? He can't. There wasn't anything. There were some various churches and things that tried to help people, and so, but other than that, there were no actual social programs that were either from the government or from you know, from other real nonprofits. That, I mean, you can do the research and you can find that out, but it was you know, pretty dire, right? So it's affecting the business owner. So you can clearly show evidence that he was affected by this, right? I mean, to the point that at the end he's offering, you know, come to my home, you know, but that sounds a little problematic, really, right? So then what's going to happen? I mean, he did offer him that, but is that the only solution, right? I mean, like, is there no support for this business owner other than that's it, himself, right? So he had a hard time with coping with the situation when it was in his office. So if it's now the situation is at home, that sounds like that's often, you know, difficult as well. So then you want to explain that. Evidence number 1 from the story. Evidence number 2 from your research. Analyze it. Your focus thoughts, right? And wrap it up, right? The other thing to keep in mind when you're analyzing literature like this, you do not want to use I, like the first person. No, you want to use the third person, right? So you can say the reader, you can say one, like in the universal, human experience, that sort of thing. All right, finally, you want to conclude. So in your conclusion, which is likely paragraph 5, you want to go touch back on the story again. So I'm going to write that down. So conclusion, you want to touch back on the story. I mean, like, give the title, right? Touch back on the story, back on the thesis, back to your main point, and you want to wrap it up. Closure, no cliffhangers. Wrap it up, all right? So conclusion, you want to touch back on the story. The Bartleby the Scrivener by Herman Melville. Give the title again. Give the author again. Go back to the thesis again. It doesn't mean you have to say it word for word. It'd be preferable not to do that, but say it in different words, right? Because you want to remind the reader of your main point, right? Come back to it. And then just wrap it up. Give closure. No cliffhangers. Don't disagree with your thesis. You can say, well, but in other ways, it was great to be in the 1850s. Like, they had, I don't know what that, but it was a great time, I mean, things were simpler or whatever. No, forget all that. That doesn't keep your focus on your thesis, right? Keep the focus, right? All right, so give closure, just wrap it up. Don't disagree with your thesis. Every paragraph should be like 4 to 7, at least 4 sentences. It could be up to like 7 is common, 10 is common. With this sort of analysis, they're often lengthier paragraphs. All right, so that's how you build your paragraphs and get your length as well. All right, that's it. First Writers Workshop. Woohoo! Thanks for hanging in there. Good luck, and I don't think you'll need it because I think you're going to do really great. I'm really impressed with everything, all the work I've seen so far.